Good morning, everybody. Chase Urick here at the Equita Home Office. Very excited about our Plug and Learn today, as we are for every Plug and Learn that we have. But very excited about our guest speaker today. You've heard him on many calls before in the past. Excited to have him. He is number 15 all-time in total submitted production with EFES. He's been with us a long, long time. He is one of our favorites to work with. He's fun to have a conversation with if you have the opportunity, which you will today. If you'd like to get interactive, you can hit star 2. But if you look at his production, this gentleman started back with us in April of 2007, one of the longest tenured agents and producers with EFES, and we're very excited to have Mr. Jim M on the call. And for those of you that seek longevity in our business, Jim is a prime example of that, consistently putting up good production, solid, consistent production numbers. And today what he's going to talk to you about, he picked a very, very unique topic that I'm excited about, and I'm going to have my pen and paper ready, which is, finding a way to win in the face of adversity. Very excited about having Jim on the call. Very excited to get Jim Macri opened up here so he can do his thing. Jim, are you there?
Yes, Chase. Yes, I am.
I appreciate you, as always, jumping on the call, buddy, and we're all ready to sit and learn and listen to what you got to go over today, and thanks again for jumping on.
Well, I want to thank you first, Chase, and thank Equita, because really without Equita I couldn't do this. And, it's always doing things, overcoming fears, and I'm a one-on-one guy. I love talking to somebody one-on-one, but sometimes when I get nervous when I talk in front of a group of people. It's always been that way, but I think sometimes the way to become more successful is to tackle those fears, and that's, with the help of God, that's what I've always tried to do, and I just wanted to talk about today finding a way to win when there's adversity. This business is a fun business. I just wanted to say that first. It's a very fun business, and just real quick on the background, once again, I was in the supermarket industry from 1988 when I got married in 1988, actually 83. I was 16 years old. Pushed shopping carts, started at the bottom like everybody else, and bagged groceries, cleaned up aisles, cleaned up toilets, things like that, and I did that, and then I, worked for some vendors like Nabisco, Keebler, and all them, and did all that for years, and what happened was the business didn't it got very unfun, is a good word to use, because I'll tell you, it was like they wanted service on Saturdays, Sundays, no life, basically. So I made the switch to the insurance industry in 97, and I worked for a company from 97 to 03. I was an agent with just selling accident insurance. Did not sell any life insurance with that company, just strictly accident insurance, combined insurance. They were a good company. But I became a sales manager, trained people, enjoyed doing that. Became a district manager, did not enjoy doing that. Worked about 80 hours a week, and I saw the opportunity in 2003 to go on my own, and that's when I started. And the first 5 years I was self-employed were just so up and down, and no stability at all. Didn't have enough leads to do my business. And then I spoke to a guy in Equita at 2007 and actually started working with him full-time January of 08. And I've loved it ever since. I just feel so blessed. I just wanted to say that to start this because, it's like you get people. I had to go to morning meetings every day, Monday through Friday at 8:30 when I worked for the insurance company. And I had to run those morning meetings when I became a district manager. And every day I had to be in the restaurant at 8:30. And I'll just tell you, I just feel so blessed and so privileged where God has put me. And getting to the topic now, I just wanted to say finding a way to win when there's a lot of adversity. There's three topics. There's three keys to winning when there's a lot of adversity, in my opinion. Number one is communication. Number two is preparation. That's going to be the biggie. Number two is the preparation. And number three, of course, is the training that EFES offers us. That's the three biggest keys to winning when there's a lot of adversity. On the communication, I just want to touch on this. This is so important. When things aren't going well, the first thing you should do, and this is what I do, okay? This is what I've done. This is what I still do when I'm having a lot of adversity. I'll talk to Scott Meyer a lot, and Scott will be a big help. I lean on Scott, and Scott's always there, and the other thing I wanted to say, too, is obviously I pray. I ask the Lord for guidance. That's my top thing. But then God provided me with Scott because I'll just talk to Scott, and Scott will, we'll go over things. And I don't sugarcoat. I'm right up front on what's going on, and I'll tell you what, that's what's so great about Equita, because everything is right there. And like, for example, if things aren't going well, if the production's not going well, this is what's been going on lately, and I'll communicate with that person, and that's very important, either communicating with your manager. I got a terrific manager, Joe Chacho, out of Florida. He is wonderful, and I'll be touching on training. When I talk about the training in a little bit, I'll be touching on that. But on the communication, when things seem to be getting away from you, like say if you're starting to fall behind on a lead cost, anything, the lead cost, the productivity, it's just so important to, talk to Chase, or for my case, or also, like I said, I talked to Scott Meyer, whoever that person is, call that person when you need them. That's why they're there. And when you communicate, when things aren't going well, you'd be amazed at how quick it turns around. It turns around really quick when things aren't going well, because they lift you right up. Nothing but positive things to say. Like when I worked for the insurance company those years from 97 to 03, you couldn't write enough policies. They had an incentive week. They wanted you to write 25 accident policies. It costed $12 a month, so it was a high-volume product. If you only wrote 18 or 20, why couldn't you write 25? That's how they would talk to you. See, with EFES, they give you nothing but positive and inspirational things, and just, and even solutions. Like, a lot of times you tell them, this is what I'm doing when I knock on the door. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm doing, when I'm giving a presentation, or I'm having a hard time getting in front of people. It's just so uplifting when you communicate, when you have things going not so well. And that's why I just wanted to touch on the communication first, and that's so important. Now, the preparation, here's the biggie. This is the most important thing. I've been blessed, because when I started with Equita, and I started I was on some conference calls I would listen to on the training back in 2009 starting. My biggest thing was I wasn't organized. And I started listening, to the conference calls, and these guys were organized. They had a set schedule. And what I started doing was I took a piece off of everybody, what they were saying, and I implemented it into my system. And honestly, preparation is so important. And I'm going to give you an example of the end of the year and the beginning of this year. At the end of 2015, I actually I had a couple very good weeks in November, and I had a couple very good weeks in December. And what I did is I made sure I started the year with extra money in my lead account. And what I did is I started the year with $750 extra in my lead account. And the reason being is when they changed the lead piece, and Chase had talked to me about this, Scott, and here's what I mean by communication. They had told me they were going to change the lead piece so that the returns would come back better. And let me tell you, the returns came back way better. I mean, really good. Every time it seems like Equita makes a change to help us, it always works out very, very well. For me anyway, it works out real well. And, the lead returns came back a lot better, so I was getting way more leads than I was used to, and my inventory was building up. Now, I was used to working 15 leads a week, 18 a week, and I started working 25 leads a week. Was I scared? You better believe I was scared, because if I didn't tell you I wasn't scared, I'd be lying to you. I was scared. So I talked to Scott about it. I said, I'm a little scared, but I told him, here's my plan. This is what way I'm going to try to tackle it. And I had a couple great weeks, and I put extra money away so I could maintain that. And then, you get a week here and a week there where your inventory drops down a little. So I had a week where I took 11 leads one week and was able to still do have some good presentations and have some things happen there. And I think I pulled out 21. That was last week with the 2100 with the 11. But the good thing is the preparation when you have an adversity, the preparation when you're winning, when you're on your high, when the sales are good, when you have a lot coming in. It's important that you put the money away in the lead account. I've always preached that. Put the money away in the lead account. So I had $750 to start the year. The first 2 weeks of this year, I started off really well. It was going great. Then I hit a little stumble and block, had a couple slow weeks. And, right now I can say on February 16th, I've had a couple up and down weeks. I had a couple average weeks, a couple below average weeks, last couple weeks. And I got to tell you, I have $600 in my lead account right now, $600. So that was all from the end of the year preparing to start this year off right. and be able to have solid work to do week in and week out. And I'm going to tell you, even when there's a little bit of adversity and the sales aren't coming as easy as they were a couple of weeks ago, I just feel so positive because I have $600 in my lead account right now. And that's what I'm talking about, preparation. Other things on preparation, I try to give a minimum of 5 presentations each day I'm out there. Now, I just want to give an example of the last 2 weeks when it comes to preparation, because there's a thing called life. Things do happen in life sometimes that throws things in. And give you an example, last Monday I was out for 12 hours. I didn't sell a thing, and it was Tuesday, and it's like 12 or 1 o'clock. And I'm sitting in a home, and I had seen the guy in November. It was a lead from November. And the gentleman said to me, he says, I'm going to wait a little longer. I thought I could get more for your price. This guy was on a lot of medication. He took 2 things for his heart. He had a heart attack in 2012, and one of the medications, a lot of the carriers are very strict on it where the rate will be very high. I basically said to him, based on everything you have going on, sir, I just said, out of all due respect, and I was very polite about it. I just said, you won't be able to get an immediate benefit with any program but this one program. And I explained all that to him, and I showed him different prices from other carriers, I had, and even mentioned a few competitors. And basically, when I went over everything, I just kept my mouth shut and listened to him ramble for like 5 minutes. And he said, you know what, you are right, I got to have this coverage. And he ended up being $1,000 premium. So, I get a call from my wife about, late in the day Tuesday. I just got the one app for $1,000. And she says, Jim, I know you go out all day Thursday and you set your appointments up Wednesday all day and you do some paperwork Wednesday morning, but I need you Thursday. Her best friend's older sister passed away, and there was a memorial service 4 o'clock Thursday last week. So the preparation of having just the leads ready and being able to readjust was important. And I got all this from being on calls and listening to people with training. I was able to do my Wednesday schedule Wednesday morning, but I went out from noon to 8 on Wednesday, only had one appointment, and just door knocked some leads in an area where the sales hadn't been coming. I mean, they just hadn't been coming, and I was able to do $1,100 door knocking on Wednesday, so I was able to readjust there and all that. But I'm just trying to just give examples on preparation on my Saturdays. When it's Saturday morning, I get up around 7:30. I get right on the computer. I print my leads up. That's the first thing I do. I organize my leads. By 9 to 9:30, I'm ready to get on the phone, and I call the whole roundup. I'm done usually about 11 o'clock. I take about a 15, 20-minute break. I start back up again around 11:30. I do another round, and then I schedule more for Monday and Tuesday. And then by the time Monday comes in the morning, this is the most important thing. And once again, I learned this from being on calls. I didn't learn this on my own. I had all my leads broke down geographically. I had all my supplies ready to go. And, everything was ready to go Monday morning. I don't have to do nothing but do my upper body workout with my 20-pound weights. It shows you how weak I am, right? 20-pound weights, and do my push-ups, and then I go out and do my cardio walk on Monday, and all I got to do is, have my breakfast, jump in a shower, and go to work. That's how my Mondays are. I don't have to look inside my notes or anything, because that was all done on Saturday afternoon after I was done setting my appointments. And then the same thing on Tuesday. I set up my whole week on Saturday, basically. And then Wednesday, or for Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday when I get back on the phone, I do the same thing I do Saturday. And then I get all my stuff organized, and I'm ready to go Thursday. Like today, for example, I'm working in an area I've worked for the last couple of months, my county, my home county today, because I'm going to go out today from about noon to about 8 today. And I just got one appointment at 4 today, and I'm going to go out and knock on a lot of doors today. Yesterday, I had a lot of appointments. Only 2 out of 6 were good. We did have very inclement weather yesterday, but I was able to get one app for $700 yesterday. But the whole point is preparation. So that's the biggest thing right there is the preparation. And like I said, once again, you want to try to at least give five presentations a day when you're out there, because you give 5 presentations a day. If you can close, 40%, out of those 5, that would be great. And then, you know, if you say you go out, you're on the phone 2 days setting appointments like I do, and you're out 3 full days, that's 15 presentations. Even if you close 30%, you're going to make some good money in this business. And that's why I say getting in front of the people, that's very important. And that all involves from the preparation. Now to touch on the training part, very important. I mean, when things aren't going good and you're having a lot of adversity, this is a big bingo here. I mean, training is so important. Being on these calls, I mean, being on your manager's calls. I'm blessed to have Joe Chacho as a manager, because I'm going to tell you, I learned so much from this gentleman. I mean, he's just a wealth of information. And it's funny because I was in a house and I'm listening to the guy ramble. That was last week. And Joe's always said on the call, sometimes we have a tendency to talk and say too much while we're in a home. And that's me. I'm a hyper individual. And sometimes I can talk too much when I'm in a home. So I just wanted to say, I heard his voice and I heard him saying, don't talk so much while you're in the home. And I just kept my mouth shut and listened to the guy. That wasn't because I did something well necessarily. It's because I listened to it on a call and just implemented it. So training and being on these calls are so important. And, you know, we all are busy people. And I know I could hear people thinking right now when I'm saying be on the call, well, sometimes I'm so busy. I got to go to an appointment. I got to do this. I want to go write business. But, you know, giving up that 45 minutes in the field to listen to the information you can learn will help you the rest of the day when you're in the field. Trust me on that. And, you know, Joe has calls Thursdays and Fridays, 10 a.m., and I try to be on every one of them. You know, I miss one in a blue moon, but I try to be on every call because they're very valuable and important to me. And I just wanted to stress that. And, of course, you got the plug and learns on Tuesday. The national call is huge. Can't miss the national call. It's just once a month, because the reason why the national call is so important with the training is because if there's any updates or changes with carriers going on or valuable information we need to know, which is going to help us make more money in the field, you know, they're very important as well. So like I said, I wanted to touch on those 3 topics. That's just about everything I have, Chase, but I just wanted to touch on those topics.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jim, for jumping on. And one point that you made that kind of stuck with me over all of the good things that you covered. Those 3 points are very important. Loved every bit of it. The one thing that you kind of touched on that kind of hit home with me was to kind of start at the top of the list when you had mentioned you actually, if we're real with each other, you start your week not on a Monday with your first door knock or your first appointment. You really start and kind of set the precedent for your success or to have a successful week the next week on a Saturday.
Yes.
By what you said about getting up, printing your leads off, and then doing what you do to just kind of set the table for a successful week starting Monday. And I thought that stuck with me because I know there's probably a lot of people on the call that do something very similar. I know that there's also a lot of people that kind of just wing it, and you know they may not print their leads until Monday morning, and then they just go door knock. But I thought that was fantastic. It was a big point that you brought up about you start your week in your preparation on Saturday to have a big week starting Monday.
Yep.
That was fantastic.
And
Jim,
everything's
in
the car. Everything's in the car right now. My supplies, everything's in there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to eat an early lunch so I don't have to stop today. And then, you know, I just can drive and go right to my first door I want to go to.
Fantastic.